It's August, and a lot of people think about August as the end of the summer and the end of everything. And gardens start to get really messy, and we think about the winter coming. But the reality is, at least on the East Coast, we have several more months of beautiful backyard time. So now's the time not to think of the gardens being finished, but a time to give them some space and prune them back so they can be beautiful and thrive for the next couple of months. This shrub right here is one of my favorites. It's called Blue Mist spirea. It's a cutback shrub, so you cut it back in the spring. It's very tolerant of heat and drought, and it blooms in August. It gets these beautiful purple blooms. They're not fragrant, but if you rub your hand like this on the stems, it has this amazing lavender scent. And the nectar from these flowers is something that the bees and the butterflies love, so I know that it's good for the environment. This shrub here I used to have in a pot, and it was on a patio, and I transplanted it here, and it's just one of my favorite foundation shrubs. I like how it eases sort of the harshness of the fence by coming through the fence. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to come in here and tidy it up. A lot of the plants here are ones that, well, they all love the sun, and they're drought resistant, even though I tend to water them as soon as I see them wilting. In the back here I have some sedum, autumn glory sedum, which is beautiful all summer long. It changes to different shades of green, and then in probably September and October it'll have this beautiful maroon flower. And that plant actually came from my parents' house, and I transplanted it years ago, so there's a history there. In my bucket here, I have different types of shovels. I have strings so I can tie things back. I have some snips to snip things, and I have an extra garden glove so that when the puppy gets in the way, I could toss the glove and it keeps her entertained. It's also important to have some bamboo sticks in case you need to prop anything up that is wilting. I like to start with the back area that has the highest impact, so I'm going to cut back these stalks from the hostas. And that'll immediately tidy things up. And I did notice also there are some really big weeds back here, and since it rained recently, they're easy to pull, and you always want to make sure to get the root, just to prevent them from coming back. This flower here, a lot of people call them spider flowers, and they come in pink and purple and white. They're self-seeding, so if you allow these seeds here to dry and fall to the ground, these flowers will return the next year. They're called clayame, that's their botanical name, and I love how they add sort of this soft sweeping gesture that's very freeform to a garden. And their blooms, although they're delicate, they last forever. Some have already started to seed down here, I notice, in the thicket of this rose bush. So I've done some of my cleanup here, and as you can tell, I'm a tosser. So I don't have a bag where I have to worry about getting in the bag. I just like to toss, to be aggressive and clip what I need to clip. And so one thing when you're pruning up your garden is to be really aggressive with the hosta. The leaves get old looking and the stalks, so clip it back. I ended up taking out a squash plant and a tomato plant a neighbor had given to me, and I had put these in here to give some lushness to the garden. But as I weeded, I realized that they were hiding this very tender first-time plant of Baptista, which I love, and some of my herbs weren't doing as well because they weren't getting enough sun. When you have a lot of space like this in August, it allows me to plan. So when I go to the garden center, and I love Primex, but when I go to the garden center and I see all the sales, I can figure out, ooh, I could put that perennial there, I could add a shrub here. So this is the first year for this garden, and it was a surprise garden, just because my darling dog Phoebe, what are you doing in there? She just destroyed the grass here, so then all of a sudden I had to have a garden. I feel good. I feel good about making this look even better, so I can enjoy it in September and October and even a warm day in November. So, my message about August is it's actually a beginning. It's just like getting ready for the beginning of the school year. And all the excitement for the garden that you had in the spring can happen again in August. Enjoy the day and the sunshine.